I'm Dave, and this is Austin Eats. Today I'm cooking up another Texas favorite, beef dino bones. These are basically the beef version of baby back ribs. They're big and beautiful and just great on a barbecue. A lot of backyard barbecuers tend to avoid beef ribs because, well, frankly, they can be a bit tough. I'm going to show you how to cook these low and slow so they come out tender and juicy. I'm going to start by smoking these in the Kamado Joe at 250 degrees until the internal temperature reaches 165. That should take about 3 hours. I'm going to baste them every 30 minutes with a sauce that's made with red wine and beef tallow. Now, beef tallow is basically rendered beef fat. It's the beef version of lard. That's going to give it a great mouthfeel and give it a lot of beef flavor. When they hit 165 degrees, I'm going to remove the ribs and put them in an aluminum pan. I'm going to add the remaining basting sauce and a stick of butter, wrap them up tight, and put them back on the Kamado Joe at 250 until the internal temperature reaches 203 degrees. At that point, the ribs will basically be done, but they're going to need to set about an hour before we can carve them up. Then I'm going to finish these off with a wonderful Kansas City style barbecue sauce. It's going to be wonderful. Let's get cooking. One of the keys to making great beef ribs is to start out with good meat. This is prime beef. You can see some great marbling here. These are going to be fantastic. I'm going to start by adding a lot of Kansas City style rub. This is a sweeter rub, and it's going to add a lot of flavor to the ribs. Make sure you get it all the way around. And on the back side. I'm going to wrap these up and let them sit for about an hour. I want them to come up to temperature. I just took them out of the refrigerator, and the last thing you want to do is put cold meat in a hot barbecue.
The basting sauce is very simple. It's just red wine, water, beef tallow, and Worcestershire sauce that you've heated over low heat until the beef tallow melts. Then you paint it on the ribs every 30 minutes or so. When it comes time to braise the ribs, add whatever basting sauce is left over to that pan, throw in the stick of butter, and cover it up tight.
So the ribs have been on about 2 3/4 hours at this point. They're about 158 degrees inside, so we've got a little bit to go. Want to baste them one more time, and we can see a nice pullback from the bone on both ends. It's exactly what we want. A little more basting sauce. This is red wine, Worcestershire, beef tallow, and a little bit of water. Oh, and it just makes them glisten. That's the beef tallow doing that. Okay, we'll continue to watch those. And they should be ready in about 20 minutes for the next step.
Whether you're cooking on a Kamado Joe, a Big Grenier, or some other ceramic cooker, a temperature control device is very helpful to maintain those low temperatures for long periods of time. I've had quite a few of these, and the one that I like best is the Fireboard. In fact, this particular Fireboard is about 3 years old. It has taken a beating, but it just works, which is one of the reasons I really like it. The other thing I like about the Fireboard is it has room for 6 probes. I generally only use 2 at a time, one for ambient temperature and one for the temperature of the meat. But if you were cooking on a larger smoker and wanted to monitor ambient temperature and, say, the food temperature of 5 different items, you could certainly do that with this device. The other thing that I really like about it is the user interface. It connects to my smart device and it's just so intuitive. I set up a program to run at 250 until the internal temperature hit 165 and then alert me. Then I bumped it up again for the second step. I get a nice graphical interface that tells me exactly what's happening inside the barbecue at any point in time. I have my Fireboard connected up to an old fan I had from some other manufacturer's unit, and this is how it controls the temperature. Probes are the weakest link on all of these devices, not because of a manufacturer defect, but generally because of user error. The probes are not designed to take direct heat. If I left the lid open and walked away, I'd get a flare-up that would burn up the probe. So Always have a couple of extra probes on hand. There's nothing more frustrating than going out and lighting up the barbecue and realizing that you don't have a probe that works.
Once the ribs hit 165 degrees Fahrenheit, I put them in this aluminum pan, added the remaining basting sauce, also added a stick of butter, wrapped them up, and they're going back on the grill until the internal temperature reaches 203 degrees. Once that happens, they're ready to rest.
That is how we do dino bones in Texas, y'all. You can find the recipe for the rub, the basting sauce, and the barbecue sauce in the description below. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, let me know. And please subscribe. We've got new videos coming out every week. See you next time on Austin Eats.